right here in my own backyard in good old Delaware is a really wonderful little trail. Sometimes I take it for granted after doing so many adventures this summer and traveling long distances to go ride. This is literally 20 minutes from my house, and I do this trail fairly regularly. It's called the C&D Canal. The C and D stand for the cities at the ends of the canal, Chesapeake City and Delaware City. And out and back, which is what I'm going to do today, is a just shy of 30 miles. So if you were ever interested in doing a day trip, maybe you're in the area or you're looking to travel in the area and looking for a ride, this is a great option. It's a really interesting little part of history too, that goes back quite a ways. I mean, George Washington recommended this canal be built, so did Benjamin Franklin and a host of others, but well, we'll talk about the history more while we're on the ride. But yeah, well, we're almost there. It's a sunny, well, somewhat cloudy, what is this? Tuesday? That's retirement living. Every day's Saturday when you're retired. Yes, I believe it's Tuesday morning. So let's get to it. Okay, as you can see, there's plenty of parking available. Obviously, this is a Tuesday morning, so it's off-season to say the least. But there's plenty of parking on both sides of the canal, both here and in Chesapeake City, so never an issue there. Delaware City rose up with the canal, as you can see the remnants of it here. There's just shy today of about 2,000 residents here, and as you make your way through the city, there's lots of really quaint buildings and houses from that time period, so very interesting to look at. Also, just off the coast of Delaware City on an island in the Delaware Bay, you can see Fort Delaware, which was a fortification that was used as a coastal defense in the 1800s. It was probably most used during the Civil War as a prisoner of war camp. In fact, at one time there were 15,000 occupants, and it made it the largest city in Delaware. During the regular season, you can get a ferry service over to the state park, and it's really well worth it. It's a short trip, and you get a chance to see what military life would have been like in a fort at that time. Okay, just south of the city is Fort Dupont, which was the second of kind of the command posts, the fortifications to protect the coastline and the Delaware River. Unlike Fort Delaware, which was kind of mothballed at World War I, Fort Dupont was an ongoing active base all the way through World War II. So they've been developing this and unfortunately tearing down a lot of the old buildings, but there's still quite a bit to see, and it's worth a little quick jaunt to check it out. Just outside of town, there's a little bit of history here. It's very easy to fly by, but it's definitely worth stopping and taking a look here. So in the 1830s, this area was known as Polktown, and it was one of the first free black communities at that time, and it just sort of got reclaimed, lost in time. And sometime in I believe it was in the 90s, some kids were playing out in the marsh, and they came across some stones among the reeds, and what they had uncovered was the African Union Church Cemetery. There are 5 Union soldiers, black Union soldiers, that were buried here. And so the cemetery was restored. It was rededicated in 2017. And again, it's certainly easy to fly by on your bike, but it's definitely worth the time to come and pause and reflect on those who are interred here. So what was so important that people like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson saw the need for this? Well, the 14 miles of this canal cut over 300 nautical miles of having to go all the way around the Delmarva Peninsula. So it connected the Delaware River, Delaware Bay, with the Chesapeake Bay. So cities like Philadelphia or Wilmington or Newcastle, now much shorter distance, and I should say it's safer travel to get to Baltimore and to DC and all the points in the Chesapeake. So that's what they saw. So there's 2 bridges here. The first one is St. George Bridge, or Route 13, and it's actually shut down because they're redoing it, which is great. I rode over it last year, and I thought I was going to die, so I'm glad they're fixing it. The second bridge is the Highway 1 bridge, otherwise known as the Roth Memorial. I think Roth was a senator for Delaware. If you happen to have a Roth IRA, well, same guy. Very cool bridge, interesting design and structure. construction began 1824, took 5 years to build, and when it opened, actually, it was a lock system. I don't know the change in elevation, but anyway, they utilized locks. Interestingly enough, many of the engineers involved in this came from the Erie Canal, and all the things they'd learned there they applied here. It was 66 feet wide and 10 feet deep, which is probably why you needed locks at that point. But then in the 1920s, I think, maybe 30s, they had a significant upgrade, and they changed it from 66 feet wide to 450 feet wide and 10 feet deep to 35 feet deep. And the biggest change is they dug it deep enough that it became a sea level canal. So all the locks were taken out. So at about the halfway point on the canal is the Summit Marina. There's a restaurant there called Grain H2O. I think it's a restaurant slash bar. I've actually never been to it. I've been to other locations they have, but not here. And you kind of got to go up and around to get back down onto the canal. Okay, just on the other side of these woods here to my right is Lum's Pond State Park. So if you're interested in camping or RVing or just doing some more mileage on some really sweet mountain bike trails, Lum's Pond is just right there. Lum's Pond has a special place in my heart because that was my first, what I would consider my first real bike packing excursion. That's a whole nother story. That included a night with a storm that I thought was the end. Welcome to Maryland, where the trail has gone from the Mike Castle Trail to the Ben Cardin Trail. I believe also a politician from Maryland. Okay, a couple things about Chesapeake City. Similar to Delaware City, it sprang up with the canal, and it was a really popular place along the canal, so much so that the southern part of grew really quickly, and people decided to go settle on the northern side as well of the canal, and it was connected via a bridge. And well, two things happened. One is that a boat knocked out that bridge, which ceased traffic between the two except for a ferry to take them in between. And then when they rebuilt the bridge, they built it really high up over the city, and it basically bypasses the town. So traffic went even, visitors were even fewer. Then the other thing I already mentioned is when they went to a sea level canal and there was no more lock, people just bypassed the town. So it's a small, quaint little place. I like visiting there. A couple good restaurants, Again, very quaint, beautiful old buildings and homes from history. So there's a ferry service today that goes in between. So if you do the trail and you want to go over to the south side of the canal, I believe it's $5 round trip. There is no bike service, so you can lock up your bike at a couple different places and take the ferry over and enjoy yourself, come back, and your bike will still be there. I guarantee it. Just in case you didn't know, no wake. There you go. You can lock your bike up right there. Lock's not provided. Again, there's not a whole lot over here on the north side. There's Schaefer's restaurant and what's it called? The Lighthouse Bar? It's the off season, so the restaurant's probably open. The outdoor bar's not. So every once in a while I look off to the right, or I should say I look across the canal, and every once in a while catch a glimpse of a rider over there. So there is an unsanctioned gravel trail on the south side of the canal. Why do I say unsanctioned? Because you didn't hear it from me. I think there's a trail over there. I've never ridden on it though. If you happen to be biking through Delaware and you want to get into southern Delaware, you know, the reality is you got to go over the canal at a certain point. So you really have two options at this point in time, and this will change over time. You got the Summit Bridge right there behind me, 896. That's on the western side of Delaware. The other option is the Reedy Point Bridge, which is at the very eastern edge of the canal. And I like that route because I like to take Route 9 through all the marshland down to the beach. But 896 is nice. 13 is closed, and we'll see what they do when they resurface. Maybe that'll be a another alternative. Don't tell anybody. I always turn off the camera when I go up hills because I don't want anybody to know that I don't fly up hills and I get out of breath. Don't tell anybody. All right, it's that time. All right, the frequently asked question that I've gotten a lot recently. I thank you, by the way, I appreciate it. It's people asking, hey, how's retirement going? And then kind of a variant on that is, hey, I'm thinking of retiring, you got any advice? And then the third question is, hey, are you getting a chance to ride more like you intended? So I guess I'll just take them in order. Retirement's great. I don't know what else I can say. No regrets. For those that weren't a part of the discussion earlier, yeah, it's early. I'm 57. That's early, I guess, by some people's standards. It is different than I thought it was going to be. And I've shared with some of you personally. I mean, I think there's an ego adjustment. I'd like to think I'm not a super egotistical person, but, you know, I think when you strip away your career and it's just you. You know, I was out in Ragbri and I'm meeting people and I'm just Bryan. You know, I'm Bryan that rides a bike. Not that I had a huge, gigantic career either, but, you know how it is. When you're working and people ask who you are, tell me about yourself, you almost always jump into your career. I don't do that anymore, obviously. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment. The second part is, I guess, kind of coming to grips with how I define retirement. A buddy of mine, when I had a beer with him the other night, he said, stop saying you're retired, you're semi-retired. All right, whatever, I don't want to get into semantics, but yeah, I'm doing some little consulting things here and there. And I guess one of the things I was looking forward to, I want to keep learning. And it's one of the things I really am looking forward to and have taken advantage of. For example, I wanted to learn about artificial intelligence and AI tools, and I've learned more in the last 3 months, I guess coming up on 4 months, than I did probably in the previous 4 years. Because I don't have a schedule and I can, you know, go down rabbit holes and I can try out software and I can learn new things, and that's a lot of fun. By the way, if any of you are interested, this isn't a shameless plug, whatever. I do have a professional channel. Professional. Just started it. If you're interested in it, I'll put the link. Okay, so advice. Yeah, I'd say jump in. The water's warm, it's fun, and if you can do it and you can make it financially work, go for it. I'm enjoying it. All right, final question about biking. Yes, I am biking a lot more. I've been going on about, I'm gonna say, not quite a tour, no, more than a tour a month. So like 2 tours every 3 months, maybe? No, I did the math completely wrong. 3 tours every 2 months. There we go. And the joy is, you know, like RAGBRAI. I'm not worried about Monday morning going back to work. I don't have to race back, get prepared, catch up on email. So yes, I am riding more. Friday, I am returning. It's Tuesday right now. Friday, I'm returning to the Erie Canal. I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this. That is something I've always wanted to go back to, and I'm incredibly pumped. So if I get this video done before then, well, it'll come before. Otherwise, this video is going to be done after. Can't wait. Erie Canal, got to be one of the all-time great rides in the country. If you like history, it's an amazing historical place. Just, and being there transports you back. It's incredible. Wow, that was a long, frequently asked question. Sorry. So unless like the legislation has changed, they're gonna put some homes. They're developing this area right here. And they're gonna put some homes. You know, all right. Certainly gonna be a pretty area, and it'd be nice to have this trail in your backyard for sure. How you doing? All right, hey, as we come back to Delaware City, some of you might be thinking, you know, with a trail that nice, are there any official rides on that? Well, in October, there is a really great ride called the Rivertown Ride. I don't know, I think I've done it maybe 3 times now. And it connects the river towns of Wilmington, Newcastle, and Delaware City. But this year, it's going to include Chesapeake City. So you do that whole loop, that's 62 miles, and you get a gold medal. Hopefully I'll get this video out before. And if you're interested, sign up. It's a great ride. Normally great weather, little cool, and great fall time in Delaware. Look, beyond that, Delaware is a great cycling state. It really is. If you're interested in other rides, I've put out other videos on organized rides. I've also put out some videos on just some paths, places that I like to go. Probably one of my all-time favorite rides was to ride the Delmarva Peninsula. Shameless plug. That was a fantastic ride. 5 days from the top of the peninsula to the bottom. 5 days? 5 days or 7 days? I don't remember. Might have been 7. Anyway, hey, thanks for joining in today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope this get you inspired to come out and ride in this beautiful state. Thanks for watching.